Okay, so now I'm gonna go over proteins. Okay, so there's a bunch of types of proteins. Proteins do everything. On the quiz, she said that she's gonna ask for functions of proteins. You could say any of these, all of these. There's so much shit that they do. So just know some of them. Okay, and this is proteins are made from amino acids linked together, and this is a basic structure of amino acid. So there's an amino group, if you think back to your functional groups from the last chapter, and there's a carboxyl group, and so the amino in amino acid comes from the amino, and the acid comes from the carboxyl because it makes it a carboxylic acid. And the carbon in the center is called the alpha carbon. And all the amino acids are structured like this. The only thing that differentiates them is the R group. And you'll see some of the R groups. There's 20 of them in the next few slides. And these are the non-polar ones. These are the ones that don't like water because they're mostly just carbon and hydrogen. You need to note that they're hydrophobic. These are the polar ones that are hydrophilic because they have a polar thing, so they're attracted to water. And you could see it's because of like some special elements that are on the ends. And these are the acidic and basic ones. Um, they're acidic because they gave off a hydrogen. These are basic because they accepted a hydrogen. They're also hydrophilic because they're charged. Um, and you can see like the purple box in each one, it's the same thing because it's just the amino and the carboxylic acid. Like I stated before, the only thing that changes is the top, which is the R group. Okay, um, amino acids link together in the same way that dehydration reactions occur. As you can see, the way that the amino acids are structured, there's always a H on one side and OH on the other. So the H2O goes away and the carbon and nitrogen can happily pair up. And there's a thingy-mabob, a new protein, amino acid chain. And the bond, this is very important, called a peptide bond, the special bond in proteins. Just know the name of it. Um, and now we're gonna go over protein structure. I don't like how it is in the PowerPoint, so I'm just gonna do my own thing. Okay, so primary structure is just the amino acid sequence. So it's just like the amino acids in the order that they're formed by the ribosome. Secondary structure, because the amino acids they can bond with each other through hydrogen bonds or hydrogen bonds mainly, they can either form a spiral structure where the hydrogens bond with the oxygens, as you could see, or the hydrogens bond with the nitrogens, or they can form sheets and they can fold in on each other, sort of like this. Um, because of the hydrogen oxygen bonds. It's just two different types. This is called an alpha helix and this is called a beta pleated sheet, so you should know that. And the main type of bonds in secondary structure are hydrogen bonds, you should know that. And the main type of bonds in primary structure are peptide bonds. Okay, tertiary structure happens when the secondary structure folds in on itself, making cool shapes and stuff. And this happens because a whole bunch of bonds. It could be because acidic and basic amino acids are ionic bonding with each other. It can be because of more hydrogen bonds. It can be because of polar covalent bonds. It could be because of attraction to water. Because it could be of scaredness from water. It could be anything. It just makes a unique shape. And quaternary structure is when a bunch of the tertiary structures come together and clump together to make a bigger thing. And usually that's the big protein that we have in our bodies that are like hemoglobin and other proteins. Um, yeah, so that's basically the basics of protein structure. Again, know that know what they are, know what types of bonds hold them together. The types of bonds that hold this together are just like a number of bonds that just occur between the amino acids and the R groups. We went through this, we went through this, we went through this, we went through this, we went through this. And collagen's just a type. This is a quaternary structure. You can see that there's a bunch of different tertiary structures represented by the different colors. Another quaternary structure. Okay, this is really important. She specifically said this was gonna be on the quiz, the sickle cell disease bullshit. So, okay, so most red blood cell shapes are determined by the proteins, and this is the are determined by the protein hemoglobin, which gives us this little sac which can absorb oxygen, right? And this is the amino acid structure for hemoglobin, and it all comes together. And the molecules do not associate with each other, each carries the oxygen, and that's how we get the red blood shape that we have. But some people have a mutation, and that replaces the glue with the val, and because the amino acid thing is all messed up and shit, um, it completely changes the shape, and that makes it makes, instead of hemoglobin, it makes it like a connected fiber, and this gives it its like ugly sickle shape shit, and that means that the blood cells can't carry oxygen that much because they're not like sac shaped to let the oxygen in. And this leads to the next thing. What determines protein structure? The shape of the thing, of the protein, determines protein structure. Know that if the loss of a protein shape is denaturization, and that makes it lose its function and all bad stuff from there. And you can see it's a normal protein denatured, renaturization, denaturization, and yeah. And this is just a part of the body, or you can make this artificially, that the polypeptide, all the amino acids go in, it does its stuff, and it comes out all folded and correctly shaped, and the protein's formed. And there's a bunch of ways to determine protein structure. It's just there's a bunch of processes. I'm pretty sure we don't need to know about this that much, but you